Hello everybody and welcome in. I'm your host, the Green Ghost. Tonight we are gearing up for some FEG money racing here tonight at Daytona. It's going to be a doubleheader tonight. You can catch all the action here on Ghost Racing Network for the first one. Second one going to be streamed by OSRN. Go check them out. We've got about a minute left here in practice. Drivers still getting in here, and it looks like we are shaping up for a pretty solid field here for what is a little bit of an earlier race. We do thank you all for coming out. Make sure you let me know in the chat how everything does sound for you. If the ratio sounds okay. I'm going to make one more adjustment here for the drivers before we go, so you'll hear me quiet for the last 30 seconds, but do not worry, I'll be right back. Looks like that is going to do it for practice. That's going to take us to qualifying. We will see if it is group qualifying tonight or single truck qualifying. We have seen a mix of both. Been group qualifying here as of recent. Gotta think maybe change that up tonight, as I know some drivers were talking in the Discord earlier. They did not really appreciate the whole group qualifying, as they felt like their performance wasn't being shown as much as it should have with the whole group qualifying. But just as I say that, it looks like it is indeed going to be group qualifying. Ken McCall Jr. in his way out of the pits. He's going to try to catch up to Danny Eichelman. See if they can get the gears turning on those trucks. The track map up. Nothing loaded currently at the moment. These guys have not actually started the official qualifying yet. That won't start until they actually complete their first lap. So we will put that away for now. We can get you up front here for the moment. Tyler Gibbon. I've not seen him in here before, so I do apologize if I said that wrong, but let me turn this audio down a little bit, because that looks like it's a lot louder than I thought. There we go. I was just saying, Tyler, one of the drivers I have not seen in here before. We did get a lot of new drivers here recently. They're kind of showing up to the FEG side, if you will. So we'll see, as I'm going to take a break to get rid of that audio real quick. Just make sure you guys don't hear it. Give me one sec. And that should fix that issue. We'll go back to full screen here. Doesn't look like anybody's showing up on the board yet. Not sure why. Can't get them on the ticker yet either. And just as I say that, there we go. They finally popped up. So looks like for the moment David Sheets is going to take top spot, followed by his teammate Ken McCall Jr. And the reason you might not see some of these guys pop up as we see these two, watch right here. See how close they're getting? If you do touch anything during qualifying, including the truck in front of you, that lap will not count. So you have to be very careful with that. It's tempting. I know you want to get up and push that driver because you can make more speed when you're actually pushing that driver in front of you, but you can't do it. Just take a look now at David Sheets, and I tell you what, it is good to finally be able to see David's beautiful paint scheme he's got on that truck, as he was thanking his sponsor Transmedics the other night, but I couldn't see the truck. I finally do. We did get Trading Paints Pro, so shouldn't really have an issue too much anymore with that. So that's cool. We'll get to see that. But it looks like those two are pretty happy with their lap. They're going to pull it down the pit road for a moment. They might just be practicing their pit stops, as those usually become a very important factor late in this race. Now Autumn Koger is going to top the board. See her here going through the grass. She's probably going to pull it off. She's happy with that lap. Danny Barnes currently second. And that 7 truck, one of the newer drivers as well. And he is putting in pretty good laps, as you saw right there. We got some rookies at the moment. Looks like starting to the front of this thing. Looks like we might have about 13 to 15 trucks tonight. I will know officially once qualifying is over. But that is what it's looking like at the moment. Again, if you are just tuning in, you haven't missed anything yet. We are in about a minute left to qualify. You would think it's racing right now when you see some of this action, but we haven't started yet. We are just setting the order for tonight's 40-lap race here at Daytona International Speedway. The smaller race, kind of the warm-up for the big race later tonight. It'll be hosted by FEG over on OSRN. $1,625 payout. This one does have a $400 payout. Certainly still a good payout, no less. Some of these drivers looking to get some money to pay that entry fee for this next race. 33 seconds left. You see Autumn Koger still holding. This will be these drivers' last lap right here, and we'll see what it is. It looks like that is going to shift Aaron Roth up a position over Jeff Merck, but that is going to be the only change for the moment. Looking like this order is probably going to be pretty set in stone as of right now, unless something crazy were to happen, but I don't see that being the case. Aaron Roth, one of these drivers we kind of saw pop up onto the money racing scene here as of recent. He has been showing a lot of speed. One of those drivers, if you are in FEG, you'll see him looking in those solo driver discords. And I'll tell you what, for any of the teams out there, you might want to pick this guy up. He is showing speed week in and week out so far. Only thing he's missing is those teammates to help him. He gets everybody to the front, but no one wants to seem to get him to the front. As dangerous of a driver as he is, no surprise on that. And that is going to be the white flag. Going to wrap up your qualifying here. These drivers just kind of cooling it down here, slowing down. I'll tell you what, I like the look of this truck too. That's Danny Barnes. Nice looking green Razor truck. And that is indeed, you see the flagman. He's ready to go racing. He knows we got a lot of action here in store. And I'll tell you what, it's just something about Daytona. I know that they can go 3 wide easier at Talladega, but I just like Daytona more. I like watching it more. I love racing it more. One of the great things about Daytona is it brings us extra camera angles. That means more stuff for you guys watching on the broadcast to see. And just something about this track, especially when you bring these guys under the lights, intensity ramps up. Things crazy tend to happen, so we will definitely have to see what happened. But let's go ahead and set up your grid. Let's go over your starting lineup for the night here. And your pole sitters we saw there at the end, who is going to be starting first tonight, is going to be Autumn Koger. So McCall Motorsports is going to take the pole for the night. Starting second, Danny Barnes in the 7 truck. Third place is going to be Mark McFadden. That's one of the drivers I have not yet seen in here. Good job to Mark qualifying third. Fourth, Aaron Roth. Fifth, Jeff D. Merkin rounding out that third row. On the outside is going to be Tyler Gebbins. I believe, I apologize if I said your name wrong, but Tyler Gebbin. Looks like the pronunciation. Starting sixth, seventh, going to be David Sheets in the Transmedic truck. Eighth, Kenneth McCall Jr. Ninth. It looks like we got a lot of new names in here tonight. So like I said, one more time, Michael Morer. I believe I said that, but he's starting 9th. 10th, Matt Lee. 11th, Dustin Buck. 12th is going to be Mark Von Dell. 13th, Danny Eisherman. And rounding out the field, your 14th and final driver for the night, Ricky Howell Jr. Drivers getting ready to roll off pit road, calm before the storm starts here. Hear those engines calmly idling. We'll hear them start revving up here in just a moment. Get your picks in now, ladies and gentlemen. Who is going to get it here tonight? We don't have, and this is going to make this race interesting for sure. I don't really see any Team 3 drivers at the moment that is in here. And that could definitely play a part in the outcome of this race. I'm going to make one more adjustment here, add a couple more drivers that joined in a little bit late to my data here so I can make adjustments on him if needed. Matt Lee looking like the only real, if you will, professional driver in here for the night. So that's going to give a lot of these new guys and some of these guys that we do see in here a lot competing against their pros a chance. So I think we're going to see a lot racier of a race than what we are normally used to seeing. Pit stops and not going to be as big of a factor as normal. It is going to be a one-stop race. These guys do have 80 or 85% fuel. Bring that up here in just a second. Before we do that, though, let's give some credit to your pole sitter for the night, Autumn Koger. She ran the speedy lap in group qualifying. OSR owner, hosts those late night money races. She is going to be leading this field to green. And that Ford F-150, we will see if she can hold it, as she will be looking for some of her other McCall Motorsports teammate. Looks like the nearest one, though, is going to be David Sheets, who will be starting 7th. We'll see if David can catch up. Let's take a look real quick at your race info for tonight. We are at Talladega Super Speedway. As I said, a little bit different. This is going to be the FEG-PC 100. It's going to be 100 miles, 40 laps. Do the simple math there. The track's 2.5 miles for 40 laps. That gives you 100 miles. Track temp 77 degrees Fahrenheit. Actually, that is the air temp. Excuse me. Wind not going to be a factor. Partly cloudy. Under the lights, you are watching on Ghost Racing Network. Super Speedway. High banking. A little smoother, though, than Talladega. Not quite as wide. So those are pretty much the two factors to deal with. These drivers who have been going to Talladega a lot more. We used to do pretty even between Daytona and Talladega. Both races tonight are going to be held at Daytona. So this will definitely be a good start, as it looks like I don't see any Toyotas in the field. Not too big of a field, but Autumn Koger is going to lead him to green as the green flag waves here to start the 40 laps in the FEG-PC 100. Making their way out of turn 2 for the first time now. Autumn still leading the inside. She's got Jeff Merck on her outside. See the 7 truck of Danny Barnes trying to get up to the bumper of the 60 truck, give him a push. Nothing yet as they make their way to turn 3. That 48 truck, that is Mark McFadden. What I didn't really talk about is I did not really see him too much in qualifying. But he put together a nice lap. One of those new drivers, as we see Matt Lee looking 3 wide. Quickly ducks back in line, as these guys cannot go 3 wide for the first couple laps. They know that. They remember that. Matt Lee going to play it smart and jump back in line real quick. Pack staying pretty grouped up here through lap 1. It is going to go to Autumn Koger, though, in that inside line. So we see some of these guys dancing around just a little bit towards the back here. Oh, and it looks like Michael Morer, excuse me. I believe he missed the start. That is why we see him back here. And he should be okay. Definitely you don't want to miss the start, that is for sure. But, like I said, I think he'll be okay here. He's just going to have to play it smart and hope for a caution. There will be that one pit stop. And it looks like Ricky Howell Jr., unfortunately, due to issues at the moment, he is not on track. But let's go back up front. We're going to see them come by the start-finish line right here. Still side by side for the lead. Jeff Merck not really able to get a run. You see Matt Lee playing it patient in the back. Danny Barnes a little bit up the track. Can't seem to quite get that outside lane any momentum. Usually we do see the outside be dominant. You see Jeff Merck trying everything he can right now. Getting down on the door of that 6 truck. Trying to pull a side draft on her. But I'll tell you what, that 48 of Mark McFadden is doing a really nice job right now of keeping that 6 truck in the lead. You see David Sheets in 3rd. That is Autumn's teammate, a McCall Motorsports driver. If David can get up to her bumper, I guarantee you those two are not going anywhere until we get to that first pit stop. And here we go. Matt Lee looking 3 wide early. He does not have any of his usual teammates tonight. And that is shown right now as it looks like nobody's going to go with him for the time being. But he doesn't need it. He's making progress. He is going to jump in front of that 30 of Aaron Roth. And that is an impressive little move here early from Mr. Goat himself, Matt Lee, in the 04 truck. Trying to work his way to the front. We do see him and Jeff Merck link up pretty good from time to time. I got to think with Matt Lee not having any of his teammates in here tonight, that is going to be a pretty safe and solid pick. for Matt to go with. We've completed 4 laps so far out of the 40. Only a 10th of the way through the action, just getting started. I'll tell you what, if I did have to pick tonight, I don't know if I could pick a specific driver. It's like I said, we do have a really interesting field. If you normally tune into these races, you'll know a little bit more what I mean. Matt Lee now going to jump back to the outside. He is going to bring Aaron Roth, and Jeff Merck likes what he's seeing. He wants to get that man right behind him. That's going to put the 7 in the middle with no help, as now Jeff Merck's going to drop back down low. I think Jeff actually would like to maybe get Matt Lee in front of him if he can. Jeff, a good pusher in that middle line. We see David Sheets falling back just a little bit now on that inside line. That is going to sway their momentum just for the moment. But off of turn 2, that inside now only has 2 trucks. Here comes the 60th Jeff Merck. What can Autumn do to hold it off? Danny Barnes locked on. Now he's going to get Jeff Merck clear. Will Jeff drop down? No, he doesn't quite have enough. Into turn 3, Autumn's going to retain the lead as it looked like that inside fell back for just a moment. But Matt Lee has made his way to the bottom. That's going to give that inside the advantage back now as the top lane starting to fall just for the moment. But as I was saying, if I had to pick tonight, knowing that this is a different field than usual, McCall Motorsports does have the most drivers of any team in the field tonight. I believe they do have 4 trucks. Larry McDonald, I don't believe, made it in here tonight, but it is Autumn Koger, Ken McCall Jr., David Sheets, and Mark Vondell, who you do see in that top lane. On the outside, Mark having a pretty good run so far tonight, sitting on that outside line. Showing a little bit less patience than usual, but Mark doing nothing wrong. He wants to make sure he does stay up here. Smart racing from the 59s. I just heard a little contact. It looks like David Sheets falling back. He's actually falling back behind Matt Lee now, but he is going to have his teammate Ken McCall Jr. with that behind him. As we're coming to lap 7 of 40 so far, Danny Barnes now leaving the outside. Jeff Merck did find his way in front of that 6 truck of Autumn Koger. Oh, and there it is. So it looks like we did see a little damage. So let's see if we can get a better view. I want everybody to take a look real quick at this 7 truck of Danny Barnes as he is falling now. He did take a little damage on the side. I'm not sure exactly what happened to Danny. Trying to get you guys a view here. Give it 1 sec. No, not going to get it off that one. But yes, Danny with some damage. You see it there on the left side of that truck, so that would make me think the right side of somebody's truck, not sure who yet, but the right side of somebody's truck probably has a little damage. So that's a little bit of contact early. We see the field starting to line up now. I don't think the pit window will be, it depends. With a field like this tonight, I would not be surprised to see earlier pit stops than what we do usually see. These guys, if I had to guess, are probably getting about 25 to 27 at the most laps of fuel, which is what's going to make it that 1 pit stop strategy. But they're lining up. I think these guys are going to try to tick a couple laps off here. Don't want to do anything too aggressive for now. Whole field now made their way to single file. Riding on board here. Your current leader, Jeff Merck, in that 60 truck. Jeff also riding, I believe, teammate list tonight, but like I said, look for him and Matt Lee in the 04 truck to team up. I have seen it before with these two. They know how to get to the front. Jeff right now doesn't have to worry about that issue as he is leading the field, but were to come down to it, and look, you see it there. Look at the right side, and on the screen would be the left side of Autumn Koger. Look at her front hood there, splitter if you will. It looks a little banged up, so that very well might have been the contact with Danny Barnes. That would definitely make sense right there. That damage could play a little bit of an effect on Autumn if she is not careful here. She is in the draft right now, so she is not having a problem. But if she does get on in front, damage like that can definitely hinder your speed. As it looks like, see if we got any updates on any of these drivers. Michael Morer in the 29 truck, still currently riding by himself. Let's see if we can get a quick track map look. And you see him there, the leader's entering turn 1. Michael about halfway down the backstretch, so he does still have probably a good, no more than 10 laps if I had to guess before they will lap him, so he's definitely going to need that caution soon. But with him being the only truck in that position, if he does go lap down, he would get the lucky dog for now, but we know that a lot of incidents can happen on pit stops, and he could use it there. Let's give a shout out now to one of the new drivers tonight, Dustin Buck from Forest City, Iowa. Dustin rocking that 68 truck. This might fall under a trading paint setting that I forgot to put on tonight. I did just get Trading Paints Pro today, so we'll have to see. He might have a custom number, which I may not have enabled yet, so we will check on that. But Dustin having a nice little run here. You see him trying to work to the outside. Can't seem to get any help at the moment. But he's feeling a little racy. He's going to see if anybody wants to go with him here early. I wouldn't be too surprised if Danny Barnes jumps out, but Danny might be a little intimidated for the moment with that damage. As once he was in the lead with that damage, we saw him fall back pretty quickly. As we have completed 11 of the 40 laps here so far tonight. If you are just tuning in, you are watching FEG Money Racing here on Friday night, New Year's style. Tonight is the money races right before New Year's. Going to be the last ones of the year for FEG. This one, and then we have a bigger one after this. It's going to be streamed over on OSRN. And here comes the outside lane led by... Ooh, Buck was trying to lead it for a moment, but he's going to go back in line. Now Matt Lee's going to pull out. Dustin Buck, that's going to bring him to the outside. And just when you think all these guys are going to go single file, Matt Lee's now going to start trying to lead the charge. 68's got to be careful, though. He can't push him in the corner. It looked like he wanted to there for the moment. One of those things that some of these veterans, such as Matt Lee, fear a little bit with some of these rookies. You want to race with them. You want help from them, but sometimes they make those mistakes, and part of the learning process, you hope those mistakes don't happen when they are behind you. I don't think we will see the pit strategy games played as much tonight as we do see sometimes, as some of the guys that are the masterminds of those games, such as Garrett Maines, Matthew Baker, are not here tonight. Most of these drivers probably looking to pit with drivers such as Matt Lee and Jeff Merck. But McCall Motorsports does have the numbers tonight, so if they can pit together and those four trucks can come out together, they could very well set sail here. Off of turn 2, that top lane, finally getting that momentum going. Matt Lee now draws dead even with Jeff Merck. Can't get clear, though, as Autumn Koger has linked up to that 60 truck. She has given him a nice push all the way down the backstretch. 68 found the way to the back of the 04's bumper, but it's not enough. That inside is able to make the comeback as they enter turn 3. Ooh, the 68's just getting a little offset to bumper the 04, but he is doing a certainly nice job. It looks like Matt Lee might get clear here. Not quite in the trouble. He's not going to take it. Autumn has been behind that 60 truck for a little while. You got to wonder if she is starting to get a little hot under the hood of that truck. Keeps getting on now. Let's take a ride on board with Dustin Buck here, as I was referring to earlier, one of the new drivers. But let's see the job he does here of trying to push Matt Lee to lead here, as they are coming up on that lapper now. So we're actually going to scratch that for the moment, and we're going to go back to TV2, see if they can get around this lapper okay. It looks like they are. Dustin going to jump right back behind that 04 truck. Ooh, he jumps out of line for the moment. Danny Eichmann going to cut him a break, get him back in line. I think Danny liked the progress he saw them making. He said, hey, man, it's okay. You were pushing us to the front. I'll cut you your break right here. But now let's go back to that cockpit view. And let's see if Dustin can get him to the lead here in this next half a lap or so. That lap car might have just gave these guys on the outside just a little bit of a spook for the moment. Ooh, Dustin gets on his bumper, smartly lets off right there in the corner. You hear him burp the throttle. And one thing I'll tell you what that I am seeing from the 68, some veteran-looking moves from one of the new drivers. You see him ducking down a little bit in the corner there, just trying to cool it off. And then you see what he does here. He's trying to offset just a little bit to prevent spinning Matt Lee. That does work in real life pretty well. Not so much in iRacing, as down the straightaway with these trucks, you want to be dead center. You don't want to offset yourself at all. Usually another thing you do want to try to do is you want to try to link onto their bumper and push. You really don't want to just give them little taps. Oh, Autumn gets loose. She's going to try to make her pit stop, as we see a lot of these drivers now going to come down pit road. We'll see if they all make it in cleanly. Oh, Mark Vondel gets in hot, but it looks like he's going to keep it together. Nice job by the 59 truck of Mark Vondel. Looks like they are going to bring the 22 of Tyler Gebbin. And just like we talked about earlier, I'm not sure if Mark got a speeding penalty. We'll have to watch for that. But all the McCall Motorsports drivers did a very, very nice job of coming down together. We'll see who wins the race off pit road right here. Here comes Ken McCall Jr., but it looks like it is going to go to Autumn Koger, followed by the 03. We'll see who makes their way out next. The 22 Tyler Gavin, 06 of David Sheets. Mark Vondell a little far behind. I'm not sure if Mark is going to quite be able to hang with him. That's going to make Matt Lee your new leader, being pushed by Jeff Merck, Dustin Buck on the outside, so with Danny Eisherman. And these two saw the strategy. Normally, you probably wouldn't see these guys pitting this early, but they know they're... Oh, and it looks like the 30 of Aaron Roth is going to spin it. He's going to hit the inside wall. And that's going to be a little bit of a tough break for Aaron Roth. Might have to use his fast repair on that one. Back up front now, that's going to put Dustin Buck. And in second, Danny Eisherman. These two, if they're trying to play it smart, I would say they're going to have to pit soon. You don't want to be that last group out, especially with just two trucks. It's just not enough speed. And Danny Eisherman, why is he going to bring it down this time? The 68 of Dustin Buck is going to fall. Let's see if these two can get there into the pit road cleanly, it looks like. And they both do. Nice job by these two drivers. They very well might also be able to stick with the draft. And we are seeing a lot of very nicely executed pit stops so far tonight, with the one exception of Aaron Roth in 30 truck, who did half spin it. Give himself a nice little tap to that inside wall, but the damage probably wasn't too bad. He could have even used his fast repair if he wanted to. It looks like Dustin Buck is going to win the race out of pit road here. Danny Eisherman really far behind him. I'm not sure if Danny decided to take a different strategy on his pit stops. But you see Jeff Merck and Matt Lee coming now, and then the McCall Motorsports driver, those four trucks behind them. And I think those drivers are in the best position right now, as they are the only group we see for now with four trucks. Dustin Buck, your current leader. We'll see if he can get out in front of those two trucks of Jeff Merck and Matt Lee. Should be able to link on to one of the drafts, no problem. But I know he would like to stay in the lead if he can. He's not going to be able to. Ooh, as we see Jeff Merck have to hop up at the last second. He was trying to maximize the draft that him and Matt Lee could get. We did call it earlier. I did say these two, look for them to stick together. They do like each other, even though they, I don't think, are official teammates. And now the race is on. Pit stops are over. And I think once you see this group catch that lead pack, which they got to think that they'll be able to do, we'll have to see here. Dustin Buck, not sure if he was able to catch on. He will definitely be able to catch on to this next draft, as he is now up to speed. And those two trucks, it don't matter how hard they push, they are not going to be able to hold off these four charging cars out of the McCall Motorsports group. Yep, and the gap was 3.3 seconds. It is just ticking down. Every 3 seconds-ish, it's going down by about a tenth. 22 laps to go, and once all these packs catch up, it looks like you see in the back there Danny Eisherman. Let's take a look at Danny. I'm not sure. He does have the 48 of Mark McFadden, so Mark may have had a bit of an issue on his pit stop as well, because we saw Mark having a very good run. You see Danny Eisherman, though, leading this little group here, and if they can catch that group in front of him, then they very well be back in the race. But I'm not sure if they're quite in the draft. We'll see if we can get a better angle of it. Can't quite see it. Let's see if we can see it on the tail of the 68. So they are, it looks as if they are in the draft of the 68, who is in the draft of that four truck pack consisting of the McCall Motorsports drivers, and the 22 of Tyler Gavin. And it looks like Michael Maurer, excuse me, I know I can't say his name right. We'll just call him Michael for the night. But he is the only truck a lap down right now. Still running by himself. No, he has found a pack with the two trucks that did have problem on pit road. Mark Vondell with the speeding penalty, and the 30 of Aaron Roth, who we saw half spin on the pit road. Michael missed the start, so unfortunately he is back where he is now. He is waiting for that caution, which we very well might see once these guys all get linked up. That's when they start to get racy. As you see, this second draft has made their way into that primary draft of Jeff Merck and Matt Lee, and they're going to pull the 68 of Dustin Buck and those two cars of Danny Eisherman. And was it Tyler? Who else was this other driver? Oh, the 48 of Mark McFadden. That's who it was. So they are all about to link up here, and it looks like we're going to have a 9-truck race currently for the money spots. Remember, it is only top 5 payout. So if this stands as it is, 4 of these guys are going to go home empty-handed, as here comes the move now from Autumn Koger on the outside. They're going to fly right by these two trucks. But it'll be interesting to see how many trucks Autumn Koger can pull with her before she has to drop down, as the 68 of Dustin Buck is going to stay on that inside. Autumn really trying to get her teammate. She's not going to be able to, though. She's going to have to drop down now before it's too late. Your new leader now is going to be Autumn Koger in the 6 truck, leading Jeff Merck, Matt Lee 3rd, Ken McCall Jr. 4th in the 22. Tyler Gebbin 5th, rounding out that last money spot for the time being. We'll see if he can hold it. Side by side, Jeff Merck hopped back up to the top lane. Ken McCall Jr. going to be pushing him, and some people might think here, well, this is good for Autumn because she has a teammate behind Jeff Merck. Surely the teammate won't push. Let me tell you something. I have raced with Ken. I've watched Ken for too many of these races. He is going to push with his heart. Push his heart out, if you will. He is not going to let off. He doesn't care if his teammate loses at the end because of that. These boys are here to race, not play games. One of the conversations we saw going on. And look at the push from the 03 truck. That's going to get Jeff Merck back clear. Actually create a little dent on the back of that 60 truck. It was such a good push. That's going to put Ken McCall Jr. in the 03 truck on the outside. The 22 of Tyler Gebbin now pushing him. They got David Sheets, another McCall Motorsports teammate, running 3rd in tow. You got to wonder with Matt Lee and Jeff Merck getting separated. Matt Lee probably thinking to go to that top lane, going to try to get something going here. But he's got nowhere to go right now unless he wants to try the middle, but I don't think there's anything open. And what we're going to do real quick is while these drivers are continuing to race it out, we're going to do a little NASCAR iRacing, crank it up. And that is going to do it for tonight's segment of Crank It Up. I hope you guys did enjoy that. Up front now, Autumn Koger, after we saw quite a bit of shuffling, a couple close calls there during that Crank It Up, but these guys all did a nice job keeping it together. As they are going to add the lap car, the 7 of Danny Barnes, who is having a good night until that pit stop. He's going to tag on the back of this draft. He could be a player late in this race, as we see Jeff Merck now finding his tandem partner tonight, Matt Lee in the 04 truck. They're working that outside lane as we see the 03 truck of Ken McCall Jr. jump back down to the bottom. We are coming to 14 to go this time. The action's starting to pick up. That sense of urgency starting to kick in for a couple of these drivers. It's like I was telling you earlier, 4 of these 9 right now in this main pack, excluding a couple lap cars that we do have in here. There's only 5 payout spots tonight, folks. And like I said, some of these drivers don't get this chance much, where drivers such as Matt Lee don't have any of their teammates in here. They want to take advantage. McCall Motorsports really looking to have a great showing tonight. They'd like to sweep those money spots if they can. Unfortunately, Mark Vondell, we did see fall back after a speeding penalty on pit road, so he won't be able to. And with Danny Barnes going a lap down, that is going to put Michael, the second car, on the lap down. So unfortunately, when we see Jeff Merck, unfortunately though for Michael, he is no longer in the lucky dog spot. As I was just going to say, though, we saw Jeff Merck get a little loose there. And when we were riding on board there with Tyler Gebbin, we saw him trying to push a little bit in the corner, kind of experiment with it. Normally you can't really do that here, but it's kind of like that luck kind of the whole, if you play with fire, it'll burn you after a while kind of deal. You can do it if you are really careful, but you can't keep doing it. I promise you, if you keep trying it, it's eventually going to spin that guy out in front of you. But the bottom's showing a bit of a charge right here. We'll see if Jeff Merck and Matt Lee have anything for it. Danny Eichmann doing a really nice job behind Autumn, trying to keep her out in front. And the 48 of Mark McFadden, he has made his way back up here. We thought Mark had a little bit of a tough break. He did fall back. He was in that 2-truck pack of just him and Danny Eichmann, and those two have worked together to get their way up to the front. So how about those two drivers getting it done? We don't have a lot of teammates tonight. Find the guy that you want to work with and go fast all the way to the front. That's what those two are doing. Looks like the 68 of Dustin Buck kind of falling back here. He has not really been showing that aggression we saw from him earlier right now. Not sure if he's thinking these guys are going to wreck. He might just be trying to play it safe. As I'll tell you what, around the 2.5 mile oval, 12 laps is still a long way to go. He might be waiting until we get to about 3 to go before he starts trying to make his move. See some of these drivers back here a little bit. A little 3-truck pack here. Mark Vondell, Michael Morer. And who is that other truck? That is the 20... Oh, sorry, Aaron Roth. That's who that was. I said, we got a lot of new guys in here. Oh, it looks like we have a couple going off track. I couldn't tell who that was. Gotta find out who that was. Oh, and it's Dustin Buck. And that thing's destroyed. He's gonna have to pit. Let's take a replay. Let's see what happened to Dustin. Looked like he was having a great run. I'm not sure what happened here. Let's go back a little bit. Oh, he hits that inside wall hard, so we'll go with TV1 here. Racing in the pack. Oh, wow. I got to take a look at that just one more time because I'm not sure what I want to call that from these guys. That looked like, you see the 22. He's going to just bump the 22 a little bit. And that's, okay, so that's what happened. So when he bumped the 22, got the 22 loose. They spin down. The 22 does a pretty good job of saving it here. Keeps himself on track. Unfortunately, though, oh, you see the 68 hit that inside wall hard. Going to total that truck. And he still doesn't have control of it at the moment as he is going to go back up high. And that's going to end Dustin Buck's night. Tough break for the driver of the 68 truck who was having a good run up to this point. That is going to organize up front just a little bit now as a lot of these guys have tucked back in line. Matt Lee leading the outside with Jeff Merck pushing him, but it's only 2 trucks. Don't know if they can get anything going with just those 2 trucks. Take a look now from the front view of Autumn Koger. And Autumn has had a very strong showing tonight. We'll see if she can get the job done. Autumn kind of due for a win here. She's led a lot of these, been up front, just can't seem to get it done. But look at the charge right here from this outside lane being led by Matt Lee. And for only 2 trucks, if they get clear here, that is very, very impressive job of pushing from Jeff Merck. Can't quite do it. Autumn's going to retain the lead into turn 3 as the outside now starting to fade a bit. We are coming to 8 laps to go at Daytona in the FEG-PC 100. We have seen a pretty clean race so far from these guys so far tonight. And let's see if we can take a look at what happened. And it was the 22 of Tyler Gibbon who was also involved with that. So that is going to take Tyler out of contention now as he is by himself. He is going to need a caution. And with that, it now shuffles it to only 7 trucks in contention for the money here. 5 spots paying out. Now only 2 of these guys are going to get eliminated. That 7 truck is a lapper. That's Danny Barnes. But he could play a role here at the end as we see the 03 of Ken McCall Jr. going high. Oh, Matt Lee's going to wreck. Oh, they're wrecking hard. Autumn Koger flips into the catch fence. Jeff Merck spinning. Oh, they're all involved in it. Oh, and Autumn Koger is still flipping on her lid. She is finally going to come back on her wheels. Caution is out with 8 to go, and I think that pretty much took out all the leaders as Ken McCall Jr. is going to pull down pit road, followed by his teammate David Sheets. Both of those trucks looking absolutely destroyed. That's going to be a fast pair from both of these drivers. Matt Lee also destroyed. He's going to bring that pit road. Let's go take a look at what happened here. First caution of the night. And I wasn't ready for that when we saw the 3 wide move, and then unfortunately you saw what unfolded. Let's go back here. So taking a look here from the spotter view, we see Matt Lee in the middle. Here comes that run on the top lane of the 03 of Ken McCall Jr. David Sheets. Wow, and it looks like Matt Lee just got extremely loose. I'm not sure if this was netcode. We'll have to ride on board with him. But look here, no one is on his bumper yet. Jeff Merck behind him here, but not actually on him. Go back just a little farther. You see, yeah, Jeff never really gets up to him. And you'll see the truck go around a little slowly. And he's going to hook Autumn Koger, who's going to go up right in front of her teammate here, Ken McCall Jr., and she hits the wall hard, flies up into the catch fence. Catch fence doing a nice job of keeping that truck in the racing surface. Jeff Merck gets involved, the 7 who was looking to get his lap back. He gets involved, so that might actually put Michael back on the lead lap. Danny Eichmann in the 48 almost got through, but he gets tapped there at the end. Does a pretty good job, though, overall of keeping it together. He's going to come out with the least damage. He may not have to use his fast pair. We see Autumn still flipping here. That truck definitely totaled. Not sure if she even was able to get the pit road. But I do want to take a look back at Matt Lee here. Let's take a ride on board. That could have been netcode. Would be very surprising to see one of the veterans such as Matt Lee just get loose. But it could happen. We're going to go full speed on this one to see. I want everyone to take a listen here and see if we can hear what exactly happened and watch. One more view here from Autumn's point of view. That was certainly a wild ride from Autumn. So looking back on that, that is a weird looking incident. It has to either have been Matt Lee got loose or it had to be netcode. But it was kind of weird. You saw from his wheel there, usually when these trucks get loose, you kind of see the driver's hands working it as they can kind of feel it starting to get loose. In that case, it looked like it had to have been netcode as the back end just went straight around. Didn't even give Matt Lee a chance to work it. And we didn't see Jeff Merck on his bumper, which usually would be the thing to get him loose. So a very interesting caution here. That is going to shuffle Mark McFadden, who we saw get through that with the least amount of damage. He is going to be your new leader here. As we're going to go green with, I believe, either 4 or 3 to go. I'm going to go with 4 to go. We are going to go green, so it is going to be a sprint to the finish. And that is going to group everyone back up. It looks like for the moment Dustin Buck is a lap down. Autumn Koger has one a lap down with her damage. She did have to tow. That is why she went a lap down. Danny Barnes a lap down. But as we were saying, let's give a little bit of credit to this man who hasn't gave up all night. Michael Maurer. The 29 truck. As I'm just checking something here real quick. He is the only truck to get his lap back. Let's see if we can see Dustin Buck. Okay, he has made his way back out here. First truck a lap down currently. He is going to be fighting with Autumn Koger, who is going to come out with a fresh truck. And I know she certainly wants to get the lap back as she feels like this race was kind of in her hands. Just some bad luck right there. Nothing she could do. She was on the bottom just holding her line. See the 22 there of Tyler Gavin. He also stayed out. It looks like we saw him getting that incident with Dustin Buck that put that 68 truck a lap down. You see the damage to his left side. Got to wonder if that's going to affect him at all. Pace car does have its lights off, so we are going to go green this time real quick. We've been talking about it all night. FEG is having their bigger money race after this. $1,625 payout. Top 8 getting paid out. Green flag will be at 10:30. That race is going to be over on OSRN. Go check them out. But before we can get to that, we got to finish our business here at Daytona. Our only caution of the night is going to set us up for a 4-lap sprint to the finish. And who wants it the most? 10 trucks on the lead lap. Only 5 can go home with money. And if we see another caution, that's just going to add more trucks to the lead lap. Mark McFadden's going to lead in the green. He's going to have Mark Von Dell on his bumper. Got to think Mark wants a win, but Mark doesn't get a good restart. That's going to put the 22 to jump down behind the 48. Not a good restart at all from that 59 truck. And the 48's got to be a sitting duck here, as you see Danny Eichmann lining up on the outside with Dustin Buck, who is a lap down. He's going to have no problem pushing that 9 truck of Danny Eichmann. Sorry, the 8 truck of Danny Eichmann all the way to front. Ooh, Danny's going to have to go high as there was a little bit of a late block from Tyler Gebbin. That's going to put Tyler in the middle now. He's going to have nowhere to go as Mark Vondell's pushing really hard on the 48 truck on the inside. Mark McFadden now fading back, and look at the run from this outside lane. All 3 trucks are going to get clear. That's going to make Danny Eichmann your new leader. Ken McCall Jr., though, doesn't want any part of it. He's going to jump to the outside with his teammate David Sheets. Danny Eichmann going to have to try to block high. He realizes he can't. They're going to take him 3 wide. He drops back down low in front of that 1 lap down truck of Dustin Buck. 3 to go this time. They're back to 2 by 2. Ken McCall Jr. is going to lead that lap. He's in a good position with his teammate behind him here. But to the outside, here comes Aaron Roth. Aaron's going to touch the wall. David Sheets, they make contact. They keep it together, but now David Sheets, they're bouncing off the inside truck. They keep it together still somehow. That's going to push the 03 truck of Ken McCall Jr. to the lead in the inside lane. Will Danny Eichmann make a move? I got to think he'll get help right now with the 68. Aaron Roth still trying to collect himself. These guys have been a mess for the last 2 laps. I don't know if we're going to make it to the white flag at this rate. Ken McCall Jr. still leading Danny Eichmann. No move yet from that 8 truck, but here comes the outside being led by the 22. Tyler Gebbin. Now the 68 thinks about jumping outside. Matt Lee's in the wall towards the back. Matt Lee's going to keep it together, drop back down low. Back up front, you see the 22 truck. Got to wonder if that damage is just slowing him up a little bit as we see David Sheets now. He is also a little bit damaged. Usually 3 trucks on the outside can get some momentum going, but they can't seem to do it right now. And we will be coming to the white flag next time, which will mean no cautions if they make it there. Into turn 3 now, single filing out. Mark Vondell's going to try to jump in front of his teammate Autumn Koger on the 6 truck. He does. Mark Vondell, he wants himself a win. Ooh, and that outside is coming now. Autumn's got to be careful, though. She hits Mark just right off the turn. I thought she was going to spin him there, but here we come. White flag this time. 1 to go. No more caution. Who is it going to be? Dustin Buck going to jump down to the inside. He's got an issue. He's going to fall out of this pack. Jeff Merck now goes high. Ken McCall Jr. still leading. Here comes Mark Vondell on the 59 truck on the outside line. Oh, and they're spinning in the back. That's a 22 Tyler Gebbin. Jeff Merck's in it. And now Aaron Roth and Autumn Koger are going to spin. That's going to leave Mark Vondell on the 59 with no help on the outside. It's going to be a 4-truck race for the win here. Into turn 3. Danny Eichmann still pushing the 03 of Ken McCall Jr. I don't know if he's going to have enough help to make a move. We'll see. It's going to depend on that 48 truck of Mark McFadden. Danny sucking up to the bumper one last time as Ken McCall Jr. works his way to turn 4. Just 1 short shoe left. Danny Eichmann now jumps to the outside. Ken McCall Jr. is going to have the help on the bottom, though, from the 48 of Mark McFadden. It's going to be Ken McCall Jr. at the line. Ken McCall Jr. is going to win it at the shootout at the end in the Daytona 40-lap race. Good finish. That came down to the pusher. We see Danny Eichmann with a nice second-place run. The man of the hour. Good start to his night. He is racing in both. And I bet you he would sure like this result again in the next one. Your race winner here at the FEG-PC 100 is Ken McCall Jr. His teammate David Sheets going to come up behind him, give him a little victory bump. His teammate did push him to the lead there. Good job to David. I know Ken will be very happy with that, as it looks like Ken is just going to park it. He wants nothing to do with burnouts. Kind of been a trend that we've seen recently with a lot of these guys not really wanting to do burnouts. Not exactly sure what that's all about, but whatever floats their boat. Let's take a look at your race results before we go try to get top 3 for interviews. And first place tonight, your winner was Ken McCall Jr. in the 03 truck, followed by Danny Eichmann, who just couldn't quite get there at the end. Third is going to be Mark McFadden, the 48 truck. Fourth, Michael Morer. Fifth, Mark Vondell. Fifth, Mark Vondell. Sixth, Matt Lee. Seventh, David Sheets. Eighth, Jeff Merck. Ninth, Tyler Gebbin. 10th, Aaron Roth. 11th, Dustin Buck. 12th, Autumn Koger. 13th, Danny Barnes. And rounding out the field, the driver that did not make the race, Ricky Howell Jr., after he did have some issues early. I'll tell you what we're going to do here. We are going to go try to find your top 3 real quick for interviews. We'll be right back. Stay with us. And I am here with your third place finisher tonight, Mark McFadden in the 48 truck. Mark, one of our newer drivers out tonight, but you sure didn't look like one. You did a great job all night, man, and you actually are probably the reason the 03 truck got the win there at the end. You stick to the bottom, got him to the win. How did you do it there on the last lap? How'd you bring home third place, man?
Well, I just knew that I couldn't pass anybody. I got a bit of damage in that last yellow, so all I could do was follow, and I thought I'd just push a guy in front of me and hope that he would do well.
Well, he certainly did do well. You had a really good run all night. Before we let you go, though, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I want to thank FEG-PC for what they do and everything. Jeffrey Ford, I really appreciate it. This is probably about my 12th money race, and I finally got paid for a change, so that feels fantastic. And I want to thank you for doing the broadcast.
Absolutely no problem, man. Congrats on that third place finish, and hopefully that's a change of luck for you and you start winning a lot more of these. That's your third place finisher, Mark McFadden, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
All right, and currently we cannot find your second place finisher right now, Danny Eichman. We'll try to get him in here. But your winner in the first race tonight, Ken McCall Jr. Ken, you got a copy.
Yes, sir. I got you.
Well, it looks like the last couple races, you and teammate David Sheets have been getting it done throughout. Looks like he got you the front again, and you held on to it this time. You led it all the way to those last couple laps. It looked like Danny was going to give you a run for your money, though, at the line, but you held on. How'd you do it?
Watching out the rearview mirror. That's all I could do. Whoever that was that jumped down in my lane there gave me a good little push there on the bottom. So that helped me out a lot.
Well, you did a good job all night. Congrats on the win. Before we let you go, is there anyone you want to thank or give a shout out to?
Yeah, I got to thank all my teammates. Seeing Mark there on the outside. Was very excited to see him out there. Autumn was giving him a big push. I thought he was going to get side by side with me there. I'd like to thank you for doing the broadcast. Thank Jeff for putting this thing on, and thank all the family and friends that are watching right now.
All right. Well, congrats again on the win. I know you are going to be in the next race, so good luck in that one, and we will see you later.
Thank you, sir.
And it does look like, unfortunately, we were not able to find your second place finisher, Danny Eichmann, anywhere, so we're not going to be able to get an interview with him, unfortunately. But I want to go back and take a look at some of the stuff that happened at the end because it did get crazy. We saw a lot of wrecks there at the end. Let's take a look with where it started here. Go to TV2. We're going to take a look at the first wreck, which involved Tyler Gebbin. See what happened with Tyler here. This is all on that last lap, mind you. So there was no cautions. I always say if these guys want to wreck, guys, do it before we get to the end. If you wreck at the end, it's the worst time to do it. You see, just kind of gets turned there by Jeff Merck. Just hard racing at the end, nothing intentional. They're going to go up, slam that outside wall really hard. 22 gets a little bit of air. He's on the ground. You see David Sheets right there. He is falling back. He's out of the picture now. Matt Lee. And then we saw that second wreck right there, which is getting Autumn Koger involved. Let's take a look now at her view. for the second wreck in the last lap. You see the 30 of Aaron Roth. He's just going to wash up a little bit. Not sure if he didn't know she was there, but he makes contact with her. Sends both of these drivers spinning. And Mark McFadden, if he looks back at that replay, man, it was so close. If she would have clipped him, Mark may not have got the result he did, but good job avoiding that as we see Autumn spinning. She does a good job of saving it the best she can. Unfortunately, the last lap isn't going to matter at this point. And then looks like let's go back to your checkered flag now one more time. This is what it came down to. And it was a close one here. Danny Eisherman here, he's going to peek out. Mark McFadden, I'm not sure if... I kind of feel like the 48 was going to make a move, but you see to his outside, Mark Vondel, he just couldn't quite make the move as he wasn't going to be clear. So that's going to force him to stick to the bottom. And now it's just a race of who can get to the bumper first. You see it is going to be Mark Vondel who is going to get to the bumper first. Spotter view is my favorite view for these finishes. It usually shows it in the best detail. And it was a pretty close one. I think if Danny Eisman had a push, he could have got it. That's just how close it gets at the end of these. Ken McCall Jr. is going to beat him about by half a truck length. Not that much. But either way, he gets the job done. So that is going to do it for us tonight here at Ghost Racing Network. You just watched the FEG-PC 100. That was some money racing at Daytona tonight. Don't forget, they do have another race coming up right after this over on OSRN. A lot bigger race. I want to thank everybody for coming out. I wish everybody a happy new year. I don't believe we will see you again before